Okay, folks, we're back. I'm sorry for that little malfunction there. We'll try to edit it in. But anyway, we're taking a little trip through our garden trying to... Hi, Dixie. Hi, Dixie. Daddy, quit pointing that thing at me.
She's out here chasing her varmints. She's got her cat treed. And
Hi, Christina.
Come over here and bark at Rue in a minute.
Okay, folks, here we are in our garden. We're, like I say, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. Get some ideas from everybody. See what you guys think. This obviously is our chicken house and our chicken run. She can't decide whether she wants to paint it or not. I said leave it rustic. She said it looks terrible, I need to paint it. I said, well, whatever you think. Here along the side of the house, we thought about putting a raised vegetable garden right in here. Fairly close to the house. You can see it's not 50 yards from the house here. We won't have to go as far as we would from way back there in the field, but thought maybe about putting some raised beds in here. It's full sun from about 1 o'clock on, or actually about 11 o'clock on, this tree right here. And as the summer goes by, it gets even earlier. But thought about putting our vegetable garden there, just a small one, just to kind of see. So maybe. Then down here,
You're in trouble, hush.
I'm sure all our city folk neighbors enjoy hearing our rooster. This is the back side of our little run. We just kind of made a false gate there, a false fence, just something to decorate against and landscape against. Dixie's messing with our grasses. We got those grasses cut back. You want to make sure and get your grasses like this, your ornamental grasses, cut before they start to green up on the inside. Clean them up, tidy them up, make them nice. Now, here's our first question. This is dappled sun for the first 2/3 of the day, and then it's full sun. We built a little arch here. We designed a little arch in a flower bed to kind of have a garden room in there. And so this opening right here, we thought, well, we didn't think. We don't know really what to put in it. We were going to put an arbor there. Maybe put a rose in there, some kind of a climbing rose, like what kind of rose were we talking about? A new dawn, maybe a couple of new dawns in there that would actually run. But I don't know that we'll have enough sunlight. I mean, I know we get a lot of sun here, but I also know that there's a lot of shade up in the day. So, your roses really need a lot of sun. So we don't know. Maybe a clematis, some kind of trailing clematises. That's a wisteria over here, so we wouldn't want to put another wisteria. This is a wisteria right here, if you can see it. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that's going to be a wisteria, and our hopes is that it climbs over this part of the chicken run. Then we have our blood-good Japanese maples. That's a blood-good there. This is a blood-good here. No, actually, I think these are fire glows. Those are fire glows, which is also an upright Japanese maple. But I think they're a little redder. I don't think they get quite as big as a blood-good. But anyway, those two there are kind of an entry, kind of an opening into this garden room. Then we have some of the elephant ears you might have seen in an earlier video. We had the elephant ears that we dug out of the ground. Some of those we've put around these trees. Not exactly sure really where we put them, honestly. And then we've got some hydrangeas that are in the ground. We put them in there last year. Of course, they were tiny last year. They're probably going to be small again this year. I hope this year they kind of start getting their grow on and put on a little more growth so that we can actually have something out of them. There's up there by Doggo or Dixie, there's one right in there. And then we have another one right past this little Japanese maple. That's another fire glow. And then we have one right over here. You can't see them. They're just They're real small. They're probably, oh, I don't know, they were 6 or 8 inches tall last year, something like that. But anyway, we don't really know what to do with that. And here's another thing that we've undecided on. We have a lot of problem with water standing in this yard. It's a little bit low. We don't have near the problem that we did years ago because we've dug a series of ditches in here and canals to help drain this water. And in doing so, we've kind of created, right there where the dogs are.
Get out of the mud, babies.
Get out of the mud. Dixie, get out of the mud, baby. Get out.
Come on.
We've kind of created a little island here, and we think that would be a really nice place to have a bed. What to put in it, we don't know. We do have some, what kind of ferns did you buy? Ostrich ferns. We bought some ostrich ferns to put back here, and those get really tall. Those get like 4 to 6 feet tall. Very prehistoric looking, really, really cool. I understand they're pretty invasive, which a lot of your ferns are. We've got several ferns around here that we call them ditch ferns. I don't know. I've heard them called different things. Christmas ferns. What else, Christina? But anyway, we just call them ditch ferns. We don't really know what they are, but they are really, really pretty, and they do spread a little bit. But anyway, we'll have several come up this year, and we'll show you because they're all over this yard. We've scattered them everywhere. But anyway, walking up to this other little garden room here.
Dog brought back a piece of pizza and buried it in the neighbor's fire pit.
Okay. Here's another area that we're calling a garden room. We'll have this walled off. We've got some big elephant ears and things I know here, and those things will grow 7 or 8 foot tall. So it should frame all this in with a pathway through here. Here's some of our knockout roses. These are pinks. They don't do great. There's too much sun or too much shade, but they're here, and she does not want to move them. But anyway, these are the azaleas. I don't know if you've seen those. We did put them in an earlier video where we had these big azaleas in our front flower bed, and we dug them all out and moved them back here to the back, and they are just doing fantastic. They were just about defoliated when we moved them back here, and it was hot weather. It was, I think, the end of September when we moved them, and it was still hot. So they've done really, really well back here. Hopefully in the next couple of months they'll bloom. I know they bloom a really bright pink, so with kind of a bronze foliage to them. Here's another one right here. These are some that are deciduous, which means they lose their leaves every winter. We've got 2 here. I think there's another one somewhere. Here's some of the ferns that we were talking about. We call ditch ferns. They don't have any of the foliage on them. These are some that we took out of our shade garden up front to mix in with those. There's another one of the azaleas. Here's another Japanese maple. I think it's a bloodgood, honestly. I think that one is. So it should grow up pretty tall and have kind of a canopy back here. There's another azalea, another one of the big ones. And that is a boxwood that's kind of all crazy and squirrely. That was in the front yard 10 years ago, and I probably dug it up 10, 15 years ago. Actually, I brought 3 back here, and that's the only one that survived. But anyway, moving on back up. Here's another Japanese maple. So we clean all this junk up here. We got to get all that cleaned up. But anyway, that's another one. Let's see what type this is. I'm not real sure. Fire Glow. That's another Fire Glow, which, like I say, is an upright variety, but they're not quite as big as the Bloodgood, and I think they're more full, maybe. More of this. This is that ornamental grass before it's cut. I got it all cut except this one. My lawnmower ran out of fuel right there. And so anyway, that's the last one that we've got to cut back, and I'll try to get it cut back sometime this week. So we're open for any ideas, anything guys want to add to it, think we might should do, that would be nice. I've got a little koi pond project started right here. Don't look at it. I have to get liners. There's some things that I've got to get done, but dug it out real well. I think what I'm gonna do is take it on up through here with a fountain, run my fountain on down through here like this, and then this, remove some of that dirt. Maybe some of that'll be landscaped a little better. Put some in that. There's a lot of rocks. There's actually a whole lot more rocks in this ground than I thought there was, but we've really got good soil as far as it's got, it's got quite a bit of clay in it, but it's really good soil as far as growing anything. We hardly ever add any kind of amendments to it. We do put a little bit of wood chips and wood shavings and stuff in it, and of course I always throw a lucky handful of triple 13 in everything I put in the ground. So anyway, over here is an old bed that has been here since my grandparents lived here. This is a perennial bed. Of course, it's full of crepe myrtles. It's full of, there's irises. There's irises here. Daylilies. Here's another crepe myrtle. This is one that's was never planted there. It just showed up there. That's a purple. I think that is a redbud tree. I really need to try to dig that out of the ground and move it somewhere else on the lawn. Here's a little wild rose, and I think this was dug up at the farm probably. I'm sure you can't see it, but I'm sure it was dug up out of a fence row 40 years ago, and it's still hanging on. Little oak tree, redbud tree over there. They've come from this one here. This is the largest example of a redbud tree I think I've ever seen, and it's getting some age. It's a little worn for wear. I've got to try to cut it back some this year. We had a big limb fall out of the middle of it last year. We lost a lot of shade, and I'm afraid it's on its last legs. It's going to be dying on me one of these days, and got to try to find some kind of alternative. So I have planted an oak tree beside it. There's another couple of maple trees. Actually, there's 3 maple trees in there, and I'm going to put another larger tree right in here. So here's a big oak tree here that this is probably 15 feet tall already, and it needs to go. It's got to go from here. Reason being, we got power lines right over the top of us, and in the next 5 years, when that thing finally grows and gets pretty, Aspen will come through here, the power company will come through here, and they will just absolutely butcher it. And so I'm going to try to get it out before that happens. These, if anybody can tell me, I think there's some kind of I really don't know. Christina says they're naked ladies. I think there's some kind of a daylily or something. She says they're naked ladies. But to me, all the naked ladies I've seen have just spewed up out of the ground at the end of the season, just on one stalk and a flower at the end. Maybe that's what these are. Maybe this is the energy. This is what the energy comes from and stores back down into the bulb. And then at the end of the season, they pop the flowers up. Maybe that's what it is. If it is, y'all can tell me. Because, like I say, we don't know everything. We're learning as we go. But they're just a flat leaf, kind of a glossy, flat leaf type thing coming out of the ground. This is a rambling rose, and it's starting to put out. It really needs cut back and fertilized. It's a rambler. It's called a cordus arborose, whatever that is. We have no idea what color it is. We have no idea how it runs, but that's that. Another grass. Here's some more of that grass. And then this is you can see it, probably not. This is a limelight hydrangea. Then we have a row. I'm going to turn my camera this way. We have a row of grasses down through there. Of course, and then we placed elephant ears all through them. And then there's 1, 2, 3, four more Japanese maples out there that have just recently been set out. And I actually want to kind of make that a oriental garden, Japanese garden maybe, with some conifers, some more shade loving stuff, some more azaleas, camellias, things like that. So any ideas? You think we're crazy? You think it needs to be changed? Something needs to be changed? Let us know. Here, I'm thinking about maybe putting a pear tree or a couple of pear trees and maybe a espalier in it up on this fence. You know, make it look like a candelabra or whatever. I think that would be pretty right here on this fence. So maybe looking at that. Or, you know, maybe another rose of some type. Maybe a Chinese French tree. Maybe a Chinese smoke bush. Something that has something that's really neat looking. We've got space there and it takes full sun. So there's butterfly bush. Butterfly bush where we mulched it all in. I know it's getting dark. Probably aren't going to be able to see very much longer. But this is some more of our black mulch that we've been putting down. I think she showed you some of that the other day. This is more black mulch. Lots of black mulch, setting the beds out, dividing the beds. Little walkway through our beds. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Be sure to subscribe, like, share it with all your friends and loved ones. And till we meet again, talk to you soon.